All right, guys, it's me, Mr. Hard Pivot. And as usual on the Money Channel, we are going to be talking all things financial. And of course, how to economically empower you and your family for generations to come. So today, it's going to be part one of a 10-part series that will be titled Evolving Your Life with Elevating Your Thoughts, right? But as you can see, each part is going to carry its own particular title. And part one is titled How to Obtain Business and Life Success. Now, before we dive into all of this good stuff, guys, please do me a favor and smash that like button and subscribe to the channel and share, like, right? So let's get right to it. Now, I know you've all heard the saying, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. Well, if you haven't, it truly does. Now, to interpret that and to make it make a little sense, like I did and had to do a long time ago, you have to be willing to embrace, a few things at least. One being personal growth, two being personal development, and three being willing to go through leadership training. Understanding how to not only create financial independence, but how to create the mindset to maintain that independence once it's created, because that's very important. Now, excuse me, even with this series, it will be virtually impossible to share all of the years of past training and current training, past mentorship and current mentorship, and the real life experiences that I've been through and so forth. However, this series will serve as a firm foothold to help you navigate through your journey, to help you improve your future mentally, to help you improve your future physically, and to just help you increase your finances and create wealth and financial freedom, whatever that may look like and mean to you. Because, of course, it always means different things to different people. Now, I want to take a quick moment before we get started, though, to applaud you for the fact that you are watching this video today. Why? Because, like my mentor told me, if you want to do something or want something done today, you should have started it 5 years ago. I love that quote. Say it again, real quick. If you want something done today, you should have started 5 years ago. So, congratulations on taking that first step in the direction you want your life to go. All right. So today we're going to start with some basic fundamentals that will start removing the fog and creating some laser sharp focus. So get your pencil and your paper, your note recorder, your etch a sketch, whatever you do, however you do it to keep notes. Just get ready with whatever you need to take these notes and to retain these quotes. All right. So we are going to start today from the ground floor of any leadership school of thought. So the first thing I want you to write down is this, the success formula. And the key ingredient to this formula being successful is to remember this: take action. Two simple words. Why? Because, as one of my favorite mentors love to point out, and write this quote down because you're going to hear it quite often, you're going to hear it a lot, especially from me. Discouragement is always followed by the decision to delay action. And let me say it again. Discouragement is always followed by the decision to delay action. All right. So, what do I mean by that? This is what I mean by take action. That's to take any action, even if you're not sure whether it's the right action or not. Typically, you just want to do something. Do something that you feel falls in line with what you're trying to advance or how you're trying to push yourself in the correct direction. Now, whether that be in a financial direction, emotionally, spiritually, or just searching for the right mindset, etc. Now, it's better for you to do everything wrong in an attempt to get it right rather than to sit at home doing absolutely nothing perfectly, as a lot of us tend to master all too well. For example, in my home based business, I always tell my partners that taking action is one of the main ingredients to success in this business. But taking action applies to and for anyone who desires to do more, to do better, whether it's your home based business or a brick and mortar business, right? Now, one thing I totally believe is that the universe does reward those who take action. Uh, the universe rewards on the mere fact that action was made and there was follow through. See, that follow through, that's what's important, right? All right. It is really as simple as that. So, by one, making a decision, and two, taking action, this will lead to an energy, a drive, an enthusiasm. So, just remember this and write this down as well. Enthusiasm is caught, not taught, right? See, nobody can teach you enthusiasm. Nobody can teach you drive because that's that part of you, that individual who that makes you is hidden deep down in your subconscious that can only be awakened or unlocked when applied knowledge in the form of a key is placed in the ignition of your mindset. I know, pretty deep, right? Write that down too, right? Now, that takes me right into my next point. One of the biggest factors in not succeeding is simply just getting depressed. So this only happens, right, when you don't give it your all. Whatever task or goal that you set for yourself, when you don't give it your all. Why? Because we live on multiple levels of consciousness. I said it earlier. I spoke about the super subconscious, but we also live on the conscious and the superconscious level. And the moment you don't give something your all, there's some like cognitive dissonance or emotional dissonance that's being created. And I'm not going to go too deep into psychological terms and stuff like that. But what that does mean is it simply means that when you try to fool yourself, you get depressed. This is where your actions have to be equally yoked with your desires. If not, then internal tension is created because your desire is not being met by your work ethic. So A plus B is not equaling to C here. So now you feel what's called burnout. A lot of us understand that term, right? But what I want you to be conscious of is what we call cerebral burnout. You have to remember that the brain is a muscle, just like your biceps and your triceps. The more you work it, the stronger it gets. The more you work it, the sharper it gets. But when you don't do what it tells you to do, it gets tired, right? So, okay, we talked about personal growth. We talked about personal development. Um, we talked about just showing up, right? We talked about taking action, enthusiasm, depression, and cerebral burnout. Now, let's talk about the truth that there are no shortcuts. What a lot of you want to do is find this magical fast track road to success, right? But the truth is, guys, and write this down as well, and write it in big old letters. I cannot get out of doing the work. I mean, you have to get up, get out, and do something, just like the song. It's just that simple. In other words, to combat the depression and the burnout by standing up and taking action. That first step will be more valuable than a million good intentions, right? I hope that makes sense. Now, I want to wrap this up with a couple more key points. The next one is stop making excuses, guys. Please stop making excuses. The quickest and easiest way not to do something is by going in your head where the excuses are buried and find them because you can, right? Well, Tremaine, right now, I'm going through some stuff in my life. The truth is, folks, everybody is always going through some stuff, right? I hear it all the time. If they ever fire me, I want to start my own business. When we break up, it's going to be a whole new me. Or what's that good one? When that lawsuit's hit, ooh, I have all the money to do anything I want to do, right? I'm just waiting on the kids to get out of the house, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the truth is, there will never, ever be a perfect time, but you have to get through what you're going through, period. So shut off notices, car barely start, you're in between jobs. This is where you have to see the bigger picture and you got to ask yourself, these things that I'm going through, are they going to be obstacles in the path to success or are they going to be stepping stones in the path on my way to success? So from this point on, you have to turn your excuses that I know you can find, because they're easy to find, into reasons. Example, Bills being behind, guys, should not be an excuse to sit at home and mope, right? It should be your reason for getting up and making something happen. So sometimes, and I do mean sometimes, when you're trying to accomplish goals bigger and greater than your imagination, the universe doesn't mind that, but it will sometimes before giving what you want to you. It likes to see if you even deserve it, if you're worthy of it. So, in other words, the tests, the trials, the tribulations have always been there and they always will be. Now, last but not least, guys, you have to be prepared to do this, to redefine yourself. The truth of the matter is, when someone has seen you and known you to be a certain way for so long, the moment you try to do something different, they consider, they consider it wrong. The moment you try to improve your lifestyle, your finances, your health, or just yourself for that matter, they become everything I talked about earlier today and constantly try to project all of their flaws and weaknesses right onto you. So, redefining yourself may mean redefining your relationships with your family, relationships with your friends and your coworkers, and even your significant others at time. Right? Unfortunately, that may even mean cutting ties with them altogether. So, to redefine yourself takes focus, it takes discipline, and if those in your immediate circle aren't moving in the same direction as you, then those decisions have to be made. So, the funny thing is that most of the time, those people will remove themselves from your circle all by themselves, right? Because they'll just justify and then find excuses to so called not interact with you, which should be just fine with you, I'd imagine. So you got to remember this, guys. The road to success in life is a fun journey when approached with the right mindset. All right. So with that, I'll end part one. And I sincerely hope that you'll tune in for not only for part two, but for the rest of the entire series. So until next time, just remember this. I don't know you, but I believe in you. So why don't you?